welcome back once again to Joe the Shirts Off the Cuff. Oh my God. That was, our musical intro today was by White Room and their song, Papillons. Yeah, that's literally what it was. I've gone out of my way today to find the absolute most ridiculous music possible for the breaks today. So that was the first one today, Papillons by White Room. Welcome back once again to Joe the Shirts Off the Cuff. As usual, I am your host. Don't think I've ever had another main host on the show. I've had a couple of co-hosts here and there, but I am your host. Welcome back. Sorry it took so long to get back to all of you. It was my girlfriend's birthday this past week, the Russian. We went out on Tuesday, which was her actual birthday, but we didn't really go out. You know, we just went out for a couple of drinks, no big deal, just sort of local watering hole Barney's over there, and proceeded to, get alcohol poisoning. No. But what we did do, hold on, this is going to be a little noisy. Sorry about that. What we did do on Saturday, we did go out to a very nice restaurant, place called Petrosian's, I think it's called, over here in Beverly Hills area, West Hollywood area. And it was very nice, and it was, it was the full deal, We had the vodka flutes and the caviar and the little bellinis and the smoked salmon. I had the skirt steak, and she had the risotto with the shrimp, and it was all very, very nice and very, very expensive, actually. Actually, it would have been a lot more expensive, but we get a lot of deals through the internet, Groupon and Dine LA, so this only ran me about $130, which, all things considered, I mean, that's like the meal, that was the drinks, that was parking, tax, and tips. So all things considered, not bad at all. We had a very nice time, but I'm going to go on record as saying that I'm not going to recommend this place to anybody out there unless you get the deal. You check out Groupon or Dine LA and see what they can do for you. Because they'll sell you this deal. It's like $99. You get a 3-course meal. It's a 4-course meal actually. 4-course meal because it included dessert. And then you pay the tax, you tip, and life's good. But we went home and we did the math because we had their menu available online. And if we had gone there without the deal, it would have ran us $300. And a couple of days now, after that, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, I wouldn't have paid $300 for that shit. I mean, if I'm like, fuck that noise. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, it was a very nice meal for what it was, but like they gave us this little jar of caviar, and it was very nice. I enjoy caviar. But, we looked at the price of that exact can online for their restaurant, and they sell it for $69 for that little fucking tin. And I was just like, okay, so then 2 drinks later, and my $99 would have been gone. So, if you can get the deal, go ahead. But if you're going to go there, want to experience the place, pay full price. If you happen to be descended from the Rockefellers or happen to work on Seinfeld as one of the actors, then you go ahead. You enjoy yourself there. Me, it wasn't worth the money. And you know what? My girlfriend said the exact same thing. She enjoyed herself. She enjoyed the food. But if she was going to pay full price, she wouldn't be going there. That's all we're saying. Okay. So I am back. Now, a couple of interesting things I want to talk about. Yesterday, actually, I ran into an old friend of mine. He's a stand-up comic, concert pianist, and singer by the name of Sarge. Very, very, very funny, talented guy. You can catch his stuff. He has a website. I think it's called I Am Sarge. Just look up Sarge. Look at sarge.com. I Am Sarge. He's a very, very funny guy. I've known him for a lot of years. Just the first time I happened to run into him in almost 10 years. And it's funny because I was coming out of Trader Joe's, and I see him there, and he turns to me, and he doesn't recognize me. And at first, I don't recognize him either. And he goes, "Excuse me, wasn't there like a postal pickup service place right here? Right?" And I was like, I think it might be on the other block. I know what you're saying because it looks like it should be here, but it's actually on the other block right over there. And then I was like, Sarge? And he's like, do I know you? And I'm like, yeah, we used to perform together. He's like, holy shit. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, we used to perform in Albany at Tom's room, right off the throughway. I'm like, yeah, exactly, Tom's room. I'm like, Joe. I'm like, it's me, Joe. He's like, Joe, no shit. Oh, wow. And we're talking, and it was fun talking to him, and he's, like I said, really one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet as far as stand-up comedians go, because this is something I've said many, many times on this show and in my personal life. Comedians are not nice people in general, okay? There are exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, comedians are not nice people. As I've said many, many times before, they make actors seem well-adjusted. Just not, but that's not what I'm talking about today. But he did agree with me on this because he's had to deal with people in show business for a long, long time, even longer than I've been. And he gets to, and he still does, and he gets to have to deal with them a lot more often. And it's the point where he doesn't even do stand-up comedy clubs anymore. He actually does private gigs. He'll do benefits, high schools. He'll do Jewish community centers. He'll do that kind of thing. And it's great. As he put it to me, he's like, he goes to do this thing in Malibu, and it's and he's like, right before he goes up, the guy that's running goes, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Here's your money. Thank you again. Please, when you're done, enjoy the food, have a good time, have a good show. Try not to say fuck too many times. And that was it. Unlike when you go to a comedy club, when you work at a comedy club, and it's just like the sleaziest people on the planet you're ever going to meet. And I'm not talking about the customers here. They're sleazy in a very different way. I'm talking about the people that run comedy clubs, the managers, the bookers, the other comics, the scum of the earth. Absolutely 100% scum of the earth. But I digress. And I'm asking him, Sarge, how are you doing, man? It's good to see you. And he's like, well, things are all right. I'm still in recovery. You knew that, right? And I'm like, yeah, I knew that. Yeah, Sarge has been in recovery for a good 22 years now. And I'm not outing him on that, okay? He makes that a very, very public knowledge. As a matter of fact, you go to his site, iamsarge.com, and it's like, he like broadcasts it, it's like the funniest guy in recovery, makes recovery funny, that's his deal. He's very proud of it. He's not one of these little AA bitches, that nobody, I don't want anybody to know. I'm in AA. And he's talking about, he's drug free, he's alcohol free, and he doesn't gamble anymore. I mean, Sarge had the trifecta, okay? Booze, drugs, and gambling. I mean, quite simply, if he ever tried to live in Vegas, he'd be dead in a weekend, all right? But Sarge kicked all that 22 years ago. He's married now. He's got a 4-year-old kid. I think it's a son. He lives with his family in Florida, close to his parents. So he's a really, really regular kind of guy, And he's very proud of his recovery. He's proud that he was able to get out of that kind of life and use it to keep himself alive, basically, and take care of his wife and his kids and his parents. He's an only child, so he's telling me, he's like, if I don't take care of my parents, who the fuck else is going to, So I'm like, yeah, I get that. That's great, And the entire time I'm talking to him, he's telling me about his recovery. I've got a bottle of vodka and a 6-pack in my bag, and I'm thinking to myself, if it were anybody else, I'd probably just tell him, why don't you just shut the fuck up already, all right? I want to hear this shit. I want to go home. I want to get tanked. And, I told him straight up, I've never been sober, ever. I mean, you guys know that, from time to time, I'll take a month off just to make sure that I still can, but generally speaking, anytime I hear that somebody's in recovery, somebody is quit drinking, somebody's quit drugs, mind you, don't get me wrong, I understand if it's what you need to do, it's what you need to do. You want to live, you want to live. That's great. That's good. But you understand that you can't handle it anymore, that's fine. That's great. That's good for you. I really don't want to fucking hear about it. I really fucking do. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. People, all these recovering people, it's called anonymous for a reason. Keep it to yourself. I don't want to know about it. Okay, I really don't. They make such a big deal out of it. They're always saying things like, when you meet a recovering alcoholic or something like that, they'll always ask you that little shitty question. It's like, so tell me, are you a friend of Bill's? And for those of you who may not know what that means, that's their little code for, by any chance, are you also a recovering alcoholic? Because it was this guy, Bill, that started the whole AA thing. And again, nothing against AA people, nothing against all of you who are trying to kick your horrendous drug habit that makes you blow guys for coke. Nothing against you guys, but I don't want to hear about it. You go to your meetings, you tell those people about it. You have a good time with that. You go to your family, you tell them about it. You let them know. Okay, fine. But for the most part, I don't want to fucking hear about it. I'm not at that point in my life. I don't feel the need to recover for recovery. I don't feel the need to kick the habit or whatever. And talking to you just brings me down, man. That's what you're doing. You're you know what? You're hurting my buzz here. Okay, you really are. You're starting to harsh my mellow, and I don't want to hear your shit. I don't care. I mean, I care. Honestly, in the sense and I'm sure you can all relate to this. That you hear that a friend of yours, they're in recovery, they're in rehab, and you feel bad for them, that they have to go through this, because from what I've seen, going through recovery is not an easy thing. It's a very difficult thing. I mean, you got to think about it. You're literally giving up something that you really, really enjoy, you really, really love, and I mean, it's like, say, if somebody told me, Joe, if you want to make it to live to be 45, you're going to have to stop jerking off. And you know what? I'm not going to see 45. That's all there is to it. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to die 44, 364 days, and right there, I'm done. But that's the only way I can really, equate it to. That's the only thing I can really equate it to, because, as a man, you get older, you kind of gave up on sex anyway. You get to be into your 40s, 50s, 60s, you kind of gave up on sex anyway. I mean, yeah, every once in a while you have sex. That's great. Good for you. That's awesome. I love it. Awesome. If you're still one of those guys that's like working out every day and taking care of yourself and taking your vitamins, and you got the rock on working every day, good for you. Awesome for you. But you know what? When guys get into the 40s, 50s, 60s, most of that goes away. But you know what? And so you're not trying to fuck your old lady as much as you used to, because she's old. And you've written that ride already. But we still jerk off though. See, that's the thing. It's like no matter how long it goes between me and my girlfriend not having sex, it's like there's still jerking off going on, and that's pretty much like drugs. It's like I really want to do this. I'm jonesing, I'm itching, I'm scratching here, man. I got the handshakes going. I got to jerk off, But I'm not going to tell you about it, I mean, I'll tell you about it here, obviously, but it's not like. It's not like I'm going to see you. It's like, hey, Jim, I haven't seen you in what's it been? 3 years? Yeah. How you doing? I'm all right. I'm right. Still working with the firm. Still with Maggie and the kids. What about you? Well, I stopped jerking off about 2 years ago. Hardest thing I ever had to do. And I mean hard, literally. I mean, I've got a boner right now, Jim. I'm thinking you're kind of cute. But you know what? I'm going to get back to that. We need to take a quick break here. This is Nuevo by the Atomica Project. I'm Joe the Shirt. And I'm off the cuff, baby. Joe the Shirt is off the cuff once again and back. Welcome back, everybody. Good to be back. Uh, I really do, in fact, hate it when I don't do a show for more than like 2 days, because I do start jonesing, because I need to be able to expel all the shit that goes through my head. And as much as my girlfriend loves me, after a while, right around 2 in the morning, she'll just go, "Why don't you just shut the fuck up already? Jesus Christ." And I can't blame her for that. Okay. Since I've been gone, obviously, well, you know what? I'll get to that. But first, I want to finish up talking about my buddy Sarge. Like I said, check him out. He is just such a funny guy. You may have seen him on TV a couple of times here and there when they used to actually have stand-up comedy on Comedy Central. You may have seen him on some of the talk shows, maybe in a movie here or there. Great guy. He's a very odd-looking guy, because he's a tall guy. I'd say he's about 6'1" or so. He's black, but he's like that high yellow kind of black. But then he's got freckles that are actually darker than his skin. So it looks like he was spray painted, basically. And he's got red hair, which I'm telling you, it blows you away looking at this guy. And then he's a fat guy. I'm not gonna lie. And Sarge would not hold this against me. He's a fat guy. That's a fact. But he's like a football style kind of fat guy, not like fat guy that needs like a piano box to get buried in kind of fat guy. Football kind of fat guy. So yeah, and it's one of those things. He I'm glad he didn't get overly preachy with me when it came to recovery. But because like I said, I don't want to hear it. I don't need to hear any of that shit whatsoever. All right. Yeah, but like I said, once more time, like if that's where you're at right now, where you have to give up, the booze and the drugs and whatever, good luck to you. I hope it works out for you. If you need to stay on the wagon the rest of your life, guess we won't be hanging out too often. But next time you fall off that wagon, you let me know. Okay, we'll go party. Because that's one of those things that I don't believe in. I don't believe in taking care of your problems. Okay? I really don't. I lived with a woman, that she went in and out of recovery, for a couple of times. And I was very supportive of her when, her issue was drinking. And when she wanted to stop drinking, boom, there was no alcohol in the house. No booze whatsoever, okay? There was no drinking in the house. If I wanted to have a drink, I went out to a friend's house or I went to a bar, and that's where I drank. And that was just the way it was. At the same time, though, when she decided she felt like having a drink, I wasn't like, "No, baby, you've gone 3 years sober already." Yeah, and I was like, "Well, if it's up to you." That's what I said. It's up to you. If you wanna not have a drink, don't have a drink. Fine. I won't be any booze in the house. You want to have a drink? You want to have booze in the house again? Great. That's what we'll do. That's whatever your decision is. I don't care. Like when I was a bartender, I would have guys come up to me and they go, "Joe, I'm only going to have 2 drinks tonight. If I ask you for a third one, don't give it to me." And I'd be like, "Dude, bullshit." Yeah, a customer comes up to me and they ask me for a drink. I'm going to give them the fucking drink if I think that they're still, in enough control to handle the drink. I'm not going to babysit you. I'm not going to be big brother to you, okay? I don't do that. You got a personal responsibility when it comes to that kind of thing. You decide that you want to have a drink, you go have that drink. I'm not going to be that person that, if you want me to be supportive, I'll be supportive, but don't ask me to stop you from doing something as an adult that you want to do. Just saying. Okay, got a little heavy there for a second. Sorry. Real quick here, for those of you who have not gone to see Trainspotting yet, with starring my buddy Justin Zachary, check it out. This is the last weekend you can do it. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tickets are $20 Friday and Saturday, 8 p.m. show, $15 on Sunday, 7 p.m. shows. Last chance to check it out. People have been talking about it all over town, unless they happen to extend the show, which may happen, but as far as I know, I think they do have something scheduled for after the 13th. Also, Diaper Cakes by Jessica. That's my little sister. You can check her out on Instagram. Order through Instagram. You'll get up to 15% off. And if you mention my name, maybe you'll get a little more off. Or maybe she just won't talk to you ever again. Who knows? But check that out. And diaper cakes, it's not what it sounds like. My sister, she gets together diapers, baby monitors, toys, blankets, baby wipes, and all the other type of things, booties that a new or expectant mother might need. She builds this beautiful centerpiece of a 1, 2, 3, even a 4-tier cake made out of all this stuff. She makes it gorgeous, and it makes a great gift. All right? So check that out. And then also, a bit of excitement coming on for tomorrow. My first guest of the newest segment of my show, Hump Day, which that happens tomorrow. Of course, we all know Hump Day is famous for, the day of middle of the week, where you're getting over the hump, getting towards the weekend, yada, yada, yada. But Hump Day for me is I'm inviting women to be on the show, women who are into developing a business or already in business and trying to get it a little bit further. Maybe they're actors, maybe they're psychiatrists, maybe they're trying to sell something. I'm just saying that these are women that are trying to, improve their financial status through business or learning or, education. And at the same time, they're interesting and they're funny and they can hold the conversation and you still want to fuck them. That's the essential part of Hump Day, okay? It's not because, you know what? There are plenty of interesting, funny, well-educated business women out there. But let's face facts, you really don't want to hump most of them, all right? You just don't. So, these are women that you actually might want to fuck, okay? So I'm going to call the Wednesday show Hump Day. Hopefully, I'm hoping to do this at least once a week, every Wednesday. But if I have to do it, every 2 weeks or maybe once a month, and that's what I'm going to do, depending on how quickly I can, get the guest in here. Tomorrow, my first 2 guests, you get 2 for the price of 1. You get Gucci Boom and Red Fox. And aside from their already public business that they're presenting to the world, which is Calliope Canned Commodities, which they make fresh jams and pickled products. They have other things that they'll be here talking about, and we'll be taking some pictures, maybe doing a little video, who knows, and maybe tasting some of their wares. So listen in. Tomorrow the show's at 11:30. Actually setting a time for this because that's when they're going to be available. All right? So please listen into that. And as always, we have celebrity birthdays. I know it's been a while. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days worth of celebrity birthdays, including today. So I'm going to be racing through these a little bit here. By the way, if by any chance you happen to know any celebrity that I don't mention here, well, they're probably not that fucking famous, so don't worry about it, okay? And this time I'm not going to be mentioning any of the dead celebrities. So I'm going to be going through this. Maybe I'll just go through a couple at a time and then continue with the show. How's that sound? All right. Let's see. If your birthday was April 4th, then that means you share a birthday with Robert Downey Jr., 49 years old. Maya Angelou at 85 years old. David Blaine is 39. Hugo Weaving is 53. If you don't remember who Hugo Weaving is, you might remember him as the agent from the Matrix movies. David Cross is 49. Nancy McKeon, also known as Joe from The Facts of Life, is 47. Craig T. Nelson from the TV show Coach is 67. Estelle Harris, you may remember her as George's mother on Seinfeld, is 85. And Mixmaster Mike from the Beastie Boys turned 43. Wow, that's fun. April 4th is a good birthday. If your birthday was April 5th, you share a birthday then with Colin Powell, 76 years old. Christopher Reed, also known as Kid from Kid and Play, turned 49 years old. Diamond Dallas Page, ex-wrestler, turns 57. Let's see, Mitch Pileggi, also known as Skinner from the X-Files, turns 61. Oh, not bad. Not as good as April 4th. You got some big firepower. You got Robert Downey Jr. and, But, April 5th wasn't bad. And finally, let's do April 6th for now. Actor Zach Braff is 38. Paul Rudd is 44. Merle Haggard is 76. Michael Rooker, also known as Merle from The Walking Dead, is 58. Billy D. Williams turned 75. Mary Lou Henner turned 61. You may remember her from Taxi. And John Ratzenberg of Cheers fame is 66. We'll do more birthdays in just a little bit. I enjoy doing the birthday shows. I really do. I like announcing people's birthdays. I don't know. Now, so I did recovery. Now we want to talk about, but is it kosher? A lot of news, a lot of stories in the news these days about. Oh God, where was that? No, I'm sorry. Actually, here we go. Yes, kosher markets are being probed because it's been found that possibly these markets are not adhering to the very strict kosher laws that are set in place by the Rabbinical Council and looked over by the USDA. See, according to this, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has launched an investigation into the Doheny Glatt kosher meat market as controversy brews over the integrity of products sold there. Now, most of you are thinking, what do I give a shit? And the truth is, you probably don't. But if you happen to be Jewish, it is a big shit. Because, when you are kosher, there's like a ton of rules involved. Some of them obviously involved with what kind of meat is used. For instance, if you're kosher, you're not having pork, you're not having shellfish, and lots of types of seafood. No mollusk either. If you're kosher, there's a big deal in what is fed to the animals. There's a big deal on how the animal is treated, how the animal was killed. Were certain observances, as made by possibly a rabbi, observed? There's a lot of big deals going on there, and if all of these rules are not followed, then by definition, it's not kosher. Okay? For instance, if you're kosher, you don't eat tripe. It's unclean. So, the idea that, and this is a big market. So there's the idea that a lot of local Jews here in Los Angeles were going to this place and buying their food there, assuming that everything there was kosher, and then it's not. Well, that's a very, very big deal. Not that I think that there's any particular consequence to it exactly. I mean, I'm not familiar with this. You know what? I'm going to ask my girlfriend about it when I go on break to see if maybe she can shed some light on this, because it always seemed to me it's like, okay, you don't eat kosher, so I mean, is there anything that's going to happen? It's like with the Catholics, you can't, you have to eat fish on Friday. It's like, why? I mean, actually, I do know the whys, but what are the consequences? What's really going to happen? Because the Muslims have a lot of the same deal. You can't eat pork, because pigs are a dirty animal. One of the same reasons that you don't eat they don't eat lobster, because they're considered bottom feeders. They're eating the crap at the bottom of the ocean. And you know what? I'm not going to say I don't understand this. I really don't. I've always said, it's like I'm on top of the food chain. I'm going to eat whatever the fuck I want. You're telling me it's dirty? I'm telling you it's delicious. All right? That's the way I see it there. And I have a little bit more. Actually, I have one more bit of food talk here. Food talk with Joe the Shirt. In case you're wondering about the price of chicken lately, you think it's going up? Well, you know what? You're right. The price of chicken is going up. It's going up big time, especially if you happen to enjoy eating hot wings at your local bar. You may notice that either the prices of the servings are going up or the number of wings in your basket is going down. Now, the reason for this is chickens are getting bigger. How much bigger? As a matter of fact, the average chicken is about 50% bigger than it was 30 years ago. Okay, so where in the old days where you may have been eating a 4-pound chicken, now the average chicken is about a good 6 pounds, or maybe if it was 6 pounds, it's now closer to 9 pounds. So, and you're thinking to yourself, well, there's more meat, it's the same chicken. Why can't I pay the same amount of money? We'll find all that and more when we come back. This is Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff. Okay, we are back. Once again, Joe the Shirt is off the cuff. And that was Longtime Rocker by Wind Cheater. Sorry I was gone so long. I did, in fact, as I promised, went and talked to my girlfriend about it, because she is Jewish, and asked her about, she's not kosher, by the way. Lord knows I've seen her eat meat. Sausage. No, that's wrong. That's so wrong. No, and I asked her, are there really any consequences if you're kosher and then don't eat kosher? And, she says, other than how you're seeing the eyes of the Lord and being, unfaithful to your religion, she's not sure. So it doesn't really seem as if anything happens. If you're like, I'm guessing if you're supposed to be kosher and you don't eat kosher, then I suppose you don't get to, I don't know, go to heaven or not go to hell. I don't know how it goes for the Jews. Like, I've asked quite a few Jews about that, and they are divided on the issue, and I'll get into that some other time. But we were talking about chicken. Okay. So what's going on is, let's say that you go to your local favorite sports bar. You want to watch sports and you want to have hot wings, right? And you order, like, say, and you used to go into this place I used to go to this place in Albany that they used to serve 10-cent wings. Okay, so we on average, me and my friends, we'd order 100, and we'd go crazy. But, that's not the way things go these days. If you go order, 6 wings, you're being charged, $6. You're paying for $1 a wing, or if not more, depending on where you're going. But, now because there's what's happening is that they're making the chickens bigger, but because they are bigger and the price of corn, which is the main ingredient in chicken feed, has gone up, they're producing less chickens, but bigger chickens. So even though the chickens are bigger and you think you have more of the chicken, you should be able to get it at a cheaper price. The answer is no, because there's still only 2 wings on 1 bird. That's a fact. And that is what's happening. It's because the wings are getting bigger, they're getting meatier, they're getting juicier. You order 6 wings, that's like ordering, 9 wings 5 years ago. So the unit price, is different from the weight price, the per pound price. So thus you're going to end up paying more for chicken. That's all there is to it. And it's happening everywhere in the chicken industry. My girlfriend and I, every once in a while, we like to go to Gelson's, just up the street here. And we'll buy one of their, ready-made fried chickens from their deli section, which is very tasty, because let's face facts, going out for fried chicken can be rather expensive. You go to your KFC, your Popeye's chicken, even your Roscoe's chicken and waffles, fried chicken is fucking expensive. So, we would go to this place here. We get a whole fried chicken. It's fried. It's delicious. It's quartered for you. It's all divvied up, a whole chicken. And it was $6.99 up until this week. This week we went in there. We weren't even buying fried chicken. We just wanted to get a couple other things. But, we go by the deli section. And there was the same fried chicken that we've been getting for years now, $9.99. A $3 jump, a 40% jump in price in a week. All right, so if you were wondering about the price of chicken going up, you are not mistaken. Okay, everything affects everything. The drought affected the amount of corn that was grown, which amounted to the amount of corn they could use for feed, which amounted to the price of that, which accounted for how many birds can you really feed if they're going to be that big. So you need to. If you want the same size bird, you got to have less birds. Otherwise, you're going to run out of food, or you have to pay for a lot more food, and it becomes this whole big thing. And you get screwed over on it. So yes, don't be shocked if you discover that the price of chicken has gone up. Now, one of the things that are very near and dear to my heart has always been my dog. I love my dog Jack. And I loved all my dogs before that. My dog Spot. Yes, I did have a dog Spot. My dog Dusky. My dog Tanya. And great dogs. And I've always had a dog in my life at some point or another. And A recent case in Texas came down. State Supreme Court came down with a ruling wherein a couple brought their dog into a medical facility for animals for some sort of procedure, and for whatever reason, they ended up euthanizing the dog, which is just a very really pretty word for they killed the damn thing. Okay, they euthanized this animal who was in good health. There was nothing wrong with it. Somebody mislabeled something somewhere, and they put the dog down. Now, the State Supreme Court of Texas has decided that while this is a tragedy, while it is sad, and while you may be going through a great deal of grief, because as we all know, most people think of their pets as family members, especially when you're talking about people who don't have children. You know, their pet becomes their child in a lot of ways, which I think is really overstressing the human-animal relationship. I love my dog, but he's not my son. He's the dog. Okay? For instance, if I ever saw my kid, eating my sandwich, I wouldn't kick it in the ass. I'll kick my dog in the ass. Doesn't mean I don't love the dog. It's just I recognize that he's a dog and my kid's a kid. Very few of us are going to take our kid and rub its nose in the pee-pee on the floor. Okay? So I think we understand the difference between your kid and your dog. And the people that don't, well, they're a little weird and creepy that way. But even so, even if you don't think of your kid, of your dog as your kid, you still love the animal, you care for it, So in a sense, it is part of your family, just not, say, a blood relative, okay? Well, the State Supreme Court decided that even though it's a sad, awful thing that happened, you are not entitled to monetary compensation for grief. Okay, and that sounds simple enough, doesn't it? Because, the dog died, but, what type of monetary compensation can you have for an animal? It's just an animal. Well, but can you put it? But people do put a monetary compensation on grief. Maybe not on the value of the animal, but on grief itself. Yes, they can. It's not like, wherein maybe this was let's say Jack was a prize championship, dog of a line, down from a line of 3 dozen dogs before him that were also all champions, and the damn dog is actually worth, a ridiculous amount of money, and I use him to stud for me, and people pay me, $1,000 a shot to get his, dog batter into their bitches. That is not a matter of grief. That's monetary compensation. That is strictly business. That is a monetary loss. But we're talking about grief. And here's the question. The question for me is, you do put a monetary value on your grief when a human being dies. Okay? When it dies accidentally, or maybe it was murdered, And where do you draw the line between grief and money exactly? Because, okay, you take your grandma to the hospital because she needs a checkup. She's in pretty good health. She's in her late 60s, but she's a spry old gal. Still likes to watch bingo, likes to play the video slots, and she likes to get a little nookie still from grandpa. Good for her. But you take her in to get an exam and, she's due for a booster shot of some sort. They accidentally give her the wrong booster shot. She goes into anaphylactic shock and dies. Okay. Grandma has no intrinsic monetary value. Okay? Not that because we abolished slavery, we can't put a price on a human being. But we can put a price on grief. Okay, so you can sue the hospital because, hey, that was my grandma, we loved her, and nothing is ever going to replace the love and the spirit that she was, but $20 million will make me feel a little better. Which is what people are saying when they sue a hospital or a doctor or maybe an EMT or a policeman. That's what they're saying. They're saying that, this, I'm in so much pain. I don't know what to do with myself, but the 20 million will help a little bit. Or people will look at it the other way. Well, okay, you know what? $20 million is not going to bring back grandma, but, I think it's important that, the hospital understand that it made a mistake, and that while we can't send anybody to jail for making that mistake, that they must be punished. And I think $20 million is good punishment. Okay, then why do you get the money? Why can't we take that money and, I don't know, give it to the poor? Why can't we take that money and put it into the system to help other people? Why do you get the money because grandma died accidentally? Why? Because you're a bunch of greedy fucks. And that's fine. That's fine. We're not saying that grandma is worth $20 million. She was worth so much more to us. But this is the right level of punishment that we want to give the hospital. But I'm not saying that humans are, the dogs are worth as much as human beings. But I'm saying, what is the price of grief? Because I'll put it to this way. If my dog were to die today, I would be completely grief-stricken. I'd be a crying little bitch for the next several days, and I would be depressed and fucked up for weeks, maybe months, and my girlfriend would have to deal with a fucking hamster that I am for those months, okay? But if, say, your grandmother dies tomorrow, I'm fine with it. See, that's not me being cold. That's me being honest, because I don't know your grandma. And I don't know you, possibly, You're a complete stranger to me. So if your grandma dies, I'm sorry for you, but tough, I don't care. If my dog dies, I'm devastated. It's a matter of perspective here. And I think it's wrong of the courts in Texas to tell me that, I can't sue for my grief for what somebody else did fucked up to something that I loved. Oh, got heavy again. Sorry about that. Anyway, that is my time for today. Thank you for listening so much. Please tune in tomorrow, 11:30. Listen in for my guests, Gucci Gucci Boom and Red Fox. You're not going to want to miss that. Thank you for listening, and I'm taking us out with Longtime Rocker by Wind Cheater. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I'm off the cuff.